Hello there, everyone. John from Big Pants Underground coming at you. I just finished watching the first episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3 called The Next Generation. And I have to say, before I even start this review, that I did watch the first season of Picard. It started off iffy. By the end, I freaking hated it. I hated what they did to Jean-Luc Picard. I hated the direction that they took everything. I just, excuse me. I hated it. I didn't like it. So when the second season came out and I heard some people talk about it, I didn't even bother to watch the second season. So I've skipped a season. But apparently it doesn't matter because the third season pretty much makes the first and second season, or they try not to even acknowledge that those seasons existed. Now, I've only seen the very first episodes. Others have seen more episodes. I do not have that privilege to get, I don't know what you would call it, advanced viewings of shows. So I've only seen the first episode. But I got to say, so far, it's looking good. And from what I've heard from other reviewers that have seen further into, or actually seen the whole season, actually, this is something that Star Trek fans are going to enjoy. Old school Star Trek fans. Now, I'm not talking about newer Star Trek fans that are into Discovery or into Strange New Worlds and were into the first two seasons of Picard, because that was shit. There's just no other way to put it. This one is it's a tribute to the fans, as well as, so far, it's going to be a tribute to the old crew. Now, in this first episode, the only two members of the old crew are Captain Picard and William Riker. And Beverly Crusher. Beverly Crusher is the first person that you see. She's apparently being hunted by some aliens that reminded me of the way that they talked reminded me of the aliens from the Schisms episode. And she's on this ship pretty much by herself with one other person. You don't see who the other person is because during the battle, she locks this person in a room so he can't get out, and she narrowly dispatches sorry about that. She narrowly dispatches the two aliens that are attacking and then warps out of there. And then sends an encrypted message to Jean-Luc Picard, who has to find William Riker in order to be able to find Beverly. I'm doing this whole episode candid, so I'm not doing any edits on it. So you might have to bear with me. Sometimes my brain doesn't work completely. Beep, beep, beep. It's my phone. I should learn to do things like put things on silent when I'm getting ready to talk about things. There we go. All right. So anyway, Picard finds Riker. They find the system, and then they figure out a way to hijack, basically, the USS Titan, which is the Neo-Constitution class. And it has a lot of callbacks to the original Enterprise, not the episode, the original series Enterprise, but the refit Enterprise from the original cast movies. The ship looks pretty good. It really does. It looks good. It's an odd design that you wouldn't think would fit in with Starfleet design. You look at the Sovereign class, you look at the Voyager, you look at some of the other ones, and they have a sleek, like a really sleek, profile. But this ship has the rounded saucer and everything like that. So it's definitely a callback to older Starfleet designs. But they find a way to hijack it, basically. And 7 of 9 or they think of a way to hijack it. We'll put it that way. 7 of 9 ends up being the first officer, Commander Annika Hansen. And then they meet the captain, Captain Shaw, I believe it is. Liam Shaw. And you could tell from the first time that they step on board, he's not even there to greet them. He leaves that to 7 of 9, and you can tell that he's going to be kind of a prick. And then they try to go through their ruse to get him to go to a different part of space than what they were originally planned to go to, and he just flat out tells them no, he's not going. I don't care who you are. You're not. You're a retired admiral and a former captain of this ship, but you're no longer in command. You're an active Starfleet captain that doesn't have a chair, but I don't have to listen to you because this is my ship and you can't give me orders, so we're not going. And then he basically dismisses them to their quarters, and he's like, I hope you like your quarters. And it ends up, I guess they're in like crew quarters with bunk beds where Picard is on the bottom and Riker's on the top. 7 of 9 calls them to the observation lounge and basically threatens to throw them out an airlock unless they tell her where they're going to go. By the way, I guess I should have said this earlier. There are going to be spoilers. I'll put a little disclaimer at the bottom, but this just not major spoilers. But I'm basically describing the show to you anyway. So she disobeys orders from Captain Shaw, obviously, and takes them where they need to go, where they steal a shuttle and go into this nebula, and they find Beverly's ship, and they go on board. They find Beverly they find Beverly in a stasis chamber where she's been injured, and then the other person that was with her is named Jack. He's a human. Takes Riker hostage from behind, and Picard turns around and convinces him that they're friends. They're friendly. They don't want to hurt them. And he starts to put his weapon down, and Riker basically jacks him in the face really hard. And then, spoiler alert, turn this off if you don't want to know this. He tells them that he's Beverly's son. Now, the timeline is that they haven't seen Beverly in 20 years. So it was hinted at the beginning of the show that Picard and Beverly had some type of romantic relationship that they couldn't make work. It doesn't mean they didn't have sex. And it's basically, they don't come right out and say it, but he's Beverly's son. So, and you see a look on Picard's face that he basically realizes that there's only one possible father for this child. And he said, they ask him what's going on, and he tells them that they've been hunted relentlessly from system to system to system, and each time that they're hunted, these people have a different face. They have different ships. They look different. The whole thing. It's like they're being hunted by a bunch of different races, but it seems to be the same people every time. And then the episode pretty much ends. There is a subplot with Raffi, the black girl from the first. I guess she was in the second season, but definitely from the first season. I didn't really like her much. I didn't like her character. I thought it was weird. I mean, you are going to have drug addicts, I guess, in Starfleet or the Federation or whatever, because drugs are always going to be a thing. But she just didn't seem to fit the aesthetic of the whole thing to me. But she's back. But I think they did okay with her. This is another spoiler. She is a member of Starfleet Intelligence, and she's flying the ship from season 1. That the smuggler ship. But the smuggler's not there. I don't know. I guess they got rid of him. So she's flying this ship, and she's working for Starfleet Intelligence, and she's trying to get the location of some weapons that have disappeared from the Daystrom Institute. We don't really get much else from her, but she does finally end up seeing this weapon being deployed and destroying I guess it's a Starfleet recruitment center on some planet. But that's all we get from her. let's talk about the show. The show looks great. It does. It looks great. The ships look great. The controls look great. Everything looks awesome. The music is Jerry Goldsmith all along, all the way. It's not written by Jerry Goldsmith, but so many good callbacks to his music. The theme from the motion picture, where Scotty and Kirk are doing the tour of the Enterprise before they dock, that's in there. The theme from First Contact, that's in there. The theme from The Next Generation, that's in there. And it's bold, and it's just in your face, and it sounds so good. It's awesome. The characters, Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart still seems a little too old to be playing this role. I mean, he's definitely an old man. You can still tell from the way he looks and the way he acts. He's an old man. The way he talks, his voice has got that old man rasp to it. Uh, Jonathan Frakes as Riker is awesome. I mean, he's back to the old Will Riker that we know and love. He's acting that way. He's bucking the system, and he's loyal to a fault to Jean-Luc Picard, which is cool. 709 is 709. She's playing 709 the way that she always has. And then you got the Raffi character. This Captain Shaw, the way he just completely rebuffed Riker and Picard, I thought that was awesome. You don't really get to see Beverly Crusher much, just in the beginning, where she fights these aliens and basically kills them, and something that you wouldn't expect Beverly to do, and they mention that in the show too. And those are the only three members of the original cast that you see in this first episode. You do see the guy playing Jackie, whoever he ends up being, Beverly's son. He's played by Ed Spielers. Don't know much about him. But none of the other crew shows up. Let's take a look here. I'm not gonna, because on IMDb they're giving away. They're definitely, with their cast lineup, they're giving away certain things about people that are coming back here. So I'm not going to show that. I'll let that be until the second episode. Let's take a look here though. The Next Generation, which is the name, it's not the Star Trek The Next Generation. It's actually the name of the first episode. It's sitting at an 8.4 out of 10 with 239 reviews. I plan to rate it pretty high myself. It's good. It's highly recommendable. I would definitely say that you should take your time if you're a true Star Trek fan and at least watch this first episode. But like I said, I have heard from others that have seen, other Star Trek fans that I trust, have seen the rest of the show, the rest of the season, and say that it's good. That you should definitely watch it if you're a Star Trek fan. This is good. This is what new Star Trek should be. Not Discovery or Strange New Worlds. I've never even watched it because I knew it was the same crap that we were getting from Discovery, and definitely not Picard season 2, which was worse than season 1, and season 1 was terrible. So I'm gonna give this my thumbs up. You should definitely give it a shot. You should definitely check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. I have the tier where I don't have to watch commercials, thankfully, because I hate commercials. But if you don't, I believe it's being released on CBS, once a week. So check it out at your earliest convenience. Let me know what you think about this show down in the comments, and I will talk to you next time.